Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays. Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus, how about that? 14 wins in a row. I was going to say 15 wins in a row. It's a little cocky. FS8A, FP2A. Frame perfect, FP. Did you have to? Did you have to get the blister? That's not a blister, it's a zit. I don't know, man. Like, I was going to say what's the difference? That's not really fair. I guess a zit is either an infection or like a clogged pore, and a blister is due to like overuse or something. Not overuse, but like damaged tissue. Look, I'm gonna hit you with some grossness, okay? I am not a like Dr. Pimple Popper sort of guy. The show, like, and the YouTube channel, they don't really bother me, but they don't give me the same sense of like, you know, frizzin' that I think they give a lot of people. But I'll tell you, when I used to run... Excuse me. I don't know why I thought there was a tinted rock here. When I used to run, and for the first little bit of it, I had ill-fitting shoes, I would always get, like, a blister right on my Achilles tendon. And, like, popping that son of a gun after a few days, oh, it felt so good. I hate to be that guy that's, ooh, I'm eating. We don't have to get into the gory details, I'm just saying. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Sometimes, like, popping a zit, nah. But popping a blister, oh man, that's like, that's good. I was gonna say good eats, but let's not phrase it like that. You know what I mean. You know why I'm here. Okay, we like it. We like Mysterious Liquid. I'm realizing now this is an XL floor. I'm realizing also we're going to be able to get a bunch of HP prior to our deal with the devil. At least 1 HP prior to our deal with the devil. Which we will absolutely get to deal with the devil, by the way. That's not even like up for debate right now. Stats on this run are really good. We look very solid. I got no complaints about this one so far. My only thing is one of the rare situations, it's debatable, but it might be better. It might be better to get a charge so we have 2 HP to work with once we get in there. The thing is, it also might be worse, because if we only take a 1 heart deal, no, that doesn't make sense. If we take a 2 heart deal, there we go, that makes sense. If we take a 2 heart deal, we'll only lose 1 HP, and on top of that, we'll actually have the Eternal Heart. Oh, that hurt. The Eternal Heart backing us up. So there's a case to be made in multiple ways. What I would say, I guess, is maybe that the best possible outcome is just having as much HP as possible, so we don't have to worry about the pounds. You know, we don't have to worry about the pennies. We can let the pounds take care of themselves. I'm not willing to do it yet. Not willing to do it yet. Couple of reasons. One is, if we get Krampus, we actually do get 1 extra HP out of this in the whole scheme of things. Because we'll get 1 extra charge followed by... Well, we couldn't afford it anyway, I guess. Was that a reroll machine or was it a donation machine? Look, for all of my bluster about how I'm, like, you know, feeling more like a human being and getting better sleep, keep in mind, I would say it takes like 1.5 of the sleeps I'm getting right now to average out to the sleeps I was getting pre-baby. So we're operating at 50%, or I don't know, 66%, repeating of course, efficacy right now. So I'm doing my best, but sometimes the play slips and the words stay. Sometimes the play stays and the words slip. But the thing is, I think it's like training under, like, low oxygen, like high altitude conditions. That was not a good play. I think when we eventually, you know, 17 years from now, start to get more sleep, oh man, I'm going to be unstoppable. So I will say, I think we made the right decision. Or did we? Because I'm like, now that I think about it, I'm like, if I take any of these, I think I'll just die. I'll die if I step on it on the way in. Are you willing to let the streak die? Oh, God. I don't know why I went through with it, but it's actually, like, totally okay. Believe it or not. All we need to do, first off, is never take damage again. It's hard for me to argue this was worth it, but it was kind of funny. All we need to do is never take damage again. Or, oh, that's huge. Get a battery charge right now. If you get a battery charge right now, everything comes into place. And I know you're like, it's a bit of an ask to get that instead of just waiting to the next floor. But, well worth it to, like, be alive. Okay, so we should not have done that, but it was also kind of funny. There was something humorous about it. I hope you had a giggle, as I did. Regardless, we're moving on here. What was I talking about 2 seconds ago? I got no memory whatsoever. I'll say lack of sleep. The short-term memory is like the first thing to go. It's also because you're busy, but like, sometimes Kate will be like, hey, can you feed her? And I'll be like, yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. Turn on Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It's the battle for the White City. I feed her, you know, 100 milliliters. And then I say to myself, remember, 100 milliliters, 9:12 a.m. At 9:30, Kate comes down and is like, hey, how much did you feed her? And I'm like, 40 plus 20 plus 40. And then, you know, she's like, okay, what time? And I'm like, 7 a.m., I think? Like, time has no meaning. It's, the flow of time is distorted in Lordran, like I said. But we're getting there, you know? Starting to piece it together bit by bit. I know we had that battery charge back there. I actually just forgot we were going to get a double charge from that one room. Things are dicey. Things are spicy. We might want to just get that charge right away so that we don't lose this Eternal Heart. Like, as much confidence as I've got in myself, it's probably also good to just not risk anything. You know, to say, like, that was risking it. That I think is a cautionary tale we should be cautioned by. No? No? Hate to mill all of my tinted rock values, so let's see. Oh, you know what? Absolutely, we will take advantage of that. That actually probably gives us HP up as well. Okay, now that we do want it. The problem is that Counterfeit Penny is also very good. Counterfeit Penny is also fun. And I think it actually might be more valuable long-term as well. Anyway, short-term, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll help us get to that full HP upgrade that much faster. Of that, there can be no doubt. Alright, so there was no need for us to get that spicy. You know Lucky Luciano? You know we had to do it to him? We got like the exact opposite right now. You didn't have to do it to him. I gotta say, sometimes fighting Big Horn is extremely annoying. This is not one of those times. Mysterious Liquid is like the perfect counter. We do get a deal with the devil. To be straight up with you, I think we should take borderline deals with the devil because we're gonna get so much HP over time. So I actually do think that it's worth it to take a Thame. I don't necessarily foresee this being like an incredible improvement for us, but it does strike me as like, imagine if your bank account could only hold like $10,000 total. There's a lot of things you would probably buy that at the present moment you wouldn't consider. Now I know that it's like a quality problem. I'm not trying to be like, well, I mean, who doesn't have, you know, $1 million in their bank account? All I'm saying is like, we have an upper level maximum for HP, so at some point there is no hoarding. Hoarding doesn't serve a purpose if you still have a good supply coming in. So as of right now, let's even say, like, let's go a step further. What if you could only keep $100 in your bank account? I'll tell you, probably eat out a lot more often. I'm still at the like, I don't know. You may not have watched the stream because it was Dark Souls 2, but I was like starving one stream, and I was like, man, I can't wait. I'm gonna. Kate's not home today. I'm gonna. This was like 3 or 4 months ago. I was like, I'm gonna DoorDash like some Chipotle. I'm gonna eat a delicious burrito. It's gonna be awesome. And then I went to DoorDash, and like when I went to check out, my $10 burrito was gonna cost $18 or something like that with delivery, and I said. To their face, and by their face I mean the computer monitor, I said I'd rather starve, and to my credit, I did. I'm sure they're like, okay, well, you know, go for it. But I did. I don't put that on Chipotle. I put that on the DoorDash Corporation. And you know what? I think we're happy with where we stand here. I don't think we actually need Maggie's faith. I still, you know, it's weird, you know, no matter how I'm doing in life, some things are expensive, you know, when you make a car payment or something like that, you're like, that's pricey. But I'm like, the little things, I almost scrutinize even more. Like, even like when we order Chipotle when there's like, you know, 2 of us here, so the delivery fee doesn't seem so asinine, or absorbent, I should say. You know, Kate will be like, do you want guacamole? And I'll be like, I want it. Is it $2.75? She'll be like, yeah. I'm like, well, then tell them they can shove it. I'm trying to finance a house, one abstaining from guacamole at a time. I think I only need approximately, I don't know, 7 trillion more guacamole abstinences in order to get to that point. That's what, dude. How are we supposed to believe? Okay, I'm being careful with this one because it's a little bit inciting some kind of generational warfare. How are we supposed to believe that millennials are bad at math and finances when it's always the boomers who are like, if you just stop going out to the movies, you could afford a house? Have you looked at the price of a house recently? People will really be like, just, you know, go down to Netflix standard definition instead of high definition and then use that to subsidize your mortgage payment. Lady, what are you talking about? I thought you were supposed to be good at math. You know, that's like $6 a month difference Canadian. Also known as like the price of a single coffee. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. It's politics season in British Columbia. I have to remember I have like no backlog. That not to like not get myself in trouble. I'm just saying like I don't have to be like, oh, probably by the time this video comes out, the election will have already happened. But yeah, so it's weird because it's COVID and we've got canvassers. People are coming around door to door. I mean, they're not impolite. I'm not trying to be rude about it, but like I had a canvasser come to our door yesterday and we maintained a social distance. But he was like, have you heard of the election? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, how are you voting? And I was like, we're going to vote by mail. You know, I wouldn't mind going in person as we normally do as long as they had good precautions in place. But we do also have a newborn, so it's like time's at a real premium. And he was like, cool. Can I give you this? And I was like, yeah. And he gave me the pamphlet. I don't know, like, maybe it's just because I don't want conflict. I'll tell you, there's a 0% chance I'm voting for the candidate that he gave me the pamphlet for. And it's not, like, let me just be real with you. They would be my second choice. But, you know, my first, I already know who I'm voting for. I gotta wonder, like, I'm still, like, I don't want this to be, like, a politics thing. But I'm still, like, man, the election's in, like, a week. Are there still undecided voters? Are there undecided voters on Earth? I think we've got to stop glamorizing undecided voters. That's my hot take, and it's a really hot take. I'm not sure everybody's going to agree with that one. But I'm like, if you've had years to look at a party's platform and their behavior, hold on. All right, bit of a whiff on that one, and you haven't come to a decision. That is not like, oh, I'm just waiting until all the information bears out. That's like, you got to take a stand at some point, you know? If you won't stand for something, what will you fall for? I'm stunned whenever someone tells me they're an undecided voter. It depends on the situation. BC is like, you know, the election was kind of called in a snap, but I'm still like, dude, like day 2, I was like, I know where I'm going here. Don't get me wrong. I think it's, if you don't know where you stand, better to wait and see. But like, do you really not know where you stand? Here, you know, if I shouldn't shy away from my hot take. What's my hot take? I think a lot of undecided voters just want attention. I'm just waiting. I know there's been tons of ink spilled and they've got their platforms out there, but I'm just waiting until the very last second to soak up all the attention I possibly can before making the decision that I was going to make 6 months before the election was called anyway. That's my take on it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, that's for certain. Can I tell you something? And this is genuine. One thing that I envy about the American political system, and it really might just be one thing, but is props. I feel like we very rarely get to vote on props in Canada, or at least in BC. There was a special referendum for electoral reform like 2 years ago that did not make it through, unfortunately. I guess that reveals where I stand on that one, but I think that within my demo, there's probably like a 90% unanimous rate there. But regardless, I feel like in California, everyone's talking about like, oh, Prop 22 and Prop this, Prop that, and I'm like, man, we don't. I feel like none of that stuff gets decided by ballot propositions here. I feel like it all gets decided by whatever party gets into power. I would love to have like a more representative kind of democracy where you vote on more issues instead of just being like, I trust these people to be my surrogate on every issue, and you know, we agree on this and don't agree on this. Now, mind you, some of the stuff I've seen about, you know, the props is like, it seems exhausting. And I'm also, you know, people can barely, it depends, you know, where they stand, but by and large, people can sometimes barely get, you know, like most people get excited about a federal election because it's like sports. They're like, go my team, boo other team. If other team wins the championship, the league will never be the same. This is not to say that both sides are just reskins of the other, to be fair, but you know, people get very tribal about it. Then when you get down to like state or provincial level politics, people are like, you know, there's some people that are way into it, but most people are kind of just like, you know, less enthused. And then when it comes down to like the mayoral election, people are like, I don't even know who the candidates are, so I'll just vote for the person who won last time. And when it gets down to city councilor, that's where even when I went to vote for city councilor last year, I will admit, because it's on the same ballot as mayor, there was like a quiz that you could do online, and it was like, you know, answer these questions, and then we'll give you, because you get to vote for like 6 city councilors or something, we'll give you the 6 candidates that seem to best represent your beliefs. That was where I went on that one. So who knows? I might have just been Cambridge Analytica in order to get someone else's agenda passed, but I felt like I was helping at the time. The tower. It's a scary room to do that, but it has been done. Ooh. Anyway. And then on top of that, I'm not sure if you heard, but there's an American election coming up like a week after that. Have you heard about this one? Oh, you won't believe it. Twists and turns every step of the way. Anyway, it's just it's gonna be a divisive season, that's for sure. I like that they stack them all up. You know, let's get them out of the way. I'm not apolitical, for the record. You know, I have some arguments with my parents. Not arguments, but like political disagreements is a polite way to put it. We don't shout at each other, but we, you know, there's a level of mutual respect and civility, but also I'm like, you know, we should do this. And they're like, well, how are we going to do this? And I'm like, well, how are we going to do this? And they're like, well, you get the idea. It's healthy, I think. I thought we already got this item. Wait, is this the rare we got both Mark and Pact? That's not common in today's modern era. That's great news. Okay. So here's where I'm at on this run. I think we have a great assortment of cards and items. I mean, we're going to win unless we pick up a question mark that ruins our run, which has been known to happen, but is pretty unlikely. I think that we are going to go to Boss Rush, pick an item, use Forget Me Now, And then there's a couple of different ways we could have... No, I was going to say we'll use our Emperor card just to speed through it as quickly as possible, but I don't think we should do that. I think we should save our Emperor card. We don't need 2 Emperors, unfortunately. Yera doesn't really work for us there. But we should try to get 2 item rooms and I don't know, maybe 2 shops. Now, I woe be it for me to complain about anything on this run, but we are lacking... And it's very slight, but we are lacking like a little bit of the D part of DPS. This is beautiful. We would really like a higher damage stat. That's the big one. If we could get that, everything's gonna fall into place. Everything's already kind of fallen into place because we have like infinite HP, but sure, it's not your favorite all stats upgrade, but it ain't bad. He ain't heavy, man. He's my brother. That's not our secret room. This is our secret room. You know what'd be sick is a Perthrow rune right now. It has to be, like, right now or in the next couple of rooms, because we could get to, turning this into an item room. We got cash. I really want to make sure we make it to boss rush, though. I'd rather have an assortment of... And then get a shop on the next floor. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Just go fast. Oh my god, Joker. Go fast. Earthquake. Earthquake. Sorry, it's been a while. Somebody in the comments has been asking for it. There you go. You got your wish. So, believe it or not, I think I'm going to let you step on me a little bit. Or at least hit me with an enemy. Like, I don't think we should move from the next attack. That way we can actually get this going and get a thame value. Come on, I need a foot. God, I wish that were me. Please. We're going to do it. It's just like... Did it have to be so tight? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I meant to take chemical peel. Truth be told, it doesn't make an enormous difference. None of the items in there were really game changers, unfortunately. But I did not mean to take less than 3. That's an item, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed to have it, but I would say, you know, doesn't really move the needle for us all that much. We definitely prefer the Emperor card, though. We'll use the Emperor to skip, I mean, most situations you might prefer to save it to skip the Cathedral or the chest, but we're going to save it to skip the Womb 1 because we have so many runes coming, that we'd be better off just... Well, now we can hold a rune in addition to it, so it's kind of like... I'm a little torn, if you will, but could also just use the gauze right away. It's a good pickup, though. It's a good pickup. You know what? Why not get? I don't know. Maybe. Why are you making decisions so quickly? We've got like infinite time. It's a good run. The world. Probably save that for the next floor. You know, I don't think we want Counterfeit Penny, but I think Cursed Dice or Cracked Dice, it's one of those things, you only know what that trinket does if you're a daily player. Like, if you play the Isaac dailies, then, you know, if you're a Surix or a Corey, you know what's up with those. I don't know what's up with those. I don't, you know, I'm not like an atomic chemist. I'm just like the lab assistant that is like, don't put the lithium in the water. Oh, no, you know. I don't get down with that subatomic, you know, what's the chiral form of this? And my transcripts from second year organic chemistry in university would bear that out. I promise you that. I promise you that. Weird flex. I'm bad at chemistry. Bearcano. I'm telling you, though, I got a real... I mean, 2020 has gone by either insanely quickly or insanely slowly, depending on your penchant for misery and how it's been for you personally, I suppose. But I feel like the end of this year is just gonna whip, dude. And not whip in a good way necessarily, but I feel like it's gonna go very fast. Just something like I feel like there's so many major things happening. I guess we will pop it. Honestly, I just kind of want to blow it up. But I don't know, sometimes major things also make time feel like it moves more slowly. You know what I mean? At least, like, when you look back on it. Like, for me, it's insane. It's been 2 weeks since we had our kid. I'm trying to figure out, like, in a way, the 2 weeks feels like it's been a blur. Like, it feels like it's flown by. But at the same time, like, every single day, I don't want to make it sound like it's, like, not, you know, like, fulfilling, because it really is. But every single day is, like, a little slower, because it's new. We already have the Polaroid, so let's black rune this. That's a good get right there. It's like the day moves fast. Or the days move slow, but the weeks move fast, if that makes sense. Can I tell you, by the way, why I got distracted? I got a red push alert on my phone, and I was like, somebody better be dead. You know what the red push alert said? It was Netflix. It said, new suggestion for Kate. Hubie Halloween. Can I tell you something? You might be saying, Hubie Halloween. I haven't heard of that. What is it? It's a movie where Adam Sandler puts on a funny voice and I think saves the town from, like, a serial killer. But also, it's a comedy. It just came out. Can I tell you? Of all the things people are mad at Netflix for, this is one of them. I was losing it. You know, I forgot I was going to do this as, like, a little conversational bit the other day. You know when you go to a website on your phone because you Google, like, hey, what are normal sounds for a newborn to make? Why does every website nowadays try to... I mean, I know why they try, I suppose, but why do they ask permission to send alerts to your home screen on your phone? That's insane. Has anybody... Like, the only people clicking on that are misclicking, right? Or they work for the website. Like, I can't imagine somebody would be like, oh, what's the price of a PS5? And then they go to Wired.com, because it was the first result on Google, and then, like... You know, they get the little pop-up that's like, hey, Wired.com wants to send you desktop notifications or wants to be able to send push notifications to your home screen. Who's saying yes to that? I don't want any... Here's what I want sending push notifications to my home screen. If I have gotten a text message, I want it. I'll accept voicemail. If somebody has left a voicemail, I want to know. Even though it's usually like a robot telling me that I'm going to jail. You've gotten that spam call in Canada, or anywhere, but I know they're going around in Canada. I mean, you definitely just take this. And because we kind of have infinite HP, let's keep the Guppy Dream alive. But if I got a missed call, and this is maybe not everybody's on the same page, I don't want to know if I got a missed call. Because every time I get a missed call, I then Google it, and it brings me to a page of people that, like, are unreliable. People are like, I got a call at dinner time from this number. Scam! And then the person below it is like, oh, this is, you know, Midas Canada doing a callback about an oil change, not a scam. And I'm like, well, which one is it? On the one hand, it's clearly not a scam. On the other hand, they did call during that person's dinner time. I love the idea that you can't send someone a telephone call during dinner time. So many different reasons. One is people eat between the hours of about 5 and 9, so that's a pretty big window. The other one is, and here's one that might blow your mind if you disagree with me on this one. If you get a call during dinner time, just hear me out. Let it ring. Don't pick it up. I know it's, you know, disturbing. I don't mean like disturbing in the same way like Suspiria might disturb you. I mean, you know, it's like ring, 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 ring. Who could be calling us? Ring, 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 ring. I always found it weird when people like got mad. They're like, you phoned me during dinner time. I'm like, well, don't call me back then. Why do you want to fight about it? Now, on a cellular telephone, that's even worse. Like at dinner, why don't you just put it on Do Not Disturb? It's like, again, I don't want to make this like a generational thing necessarily, but it does seem that like people over the age of 50 simultaneously like hate their phone and are like, but I can't not answer it. I don't mean this to be a shot at my parents, but like as soon as my mom gets a text, first off, when a millennial, I don't know why I'm turning this into a stand-up comedy routine. When a millennial gets a text, you don't know, because their phones are almost exclusively on silent. If they get a Kakao Talk, you might hear like a Kakao or something like that. line, but if they get a text, you don't know, because real G's move silent like lasagna. If somebody over the age of 50 gets a text, you know, because it goes like ba-bunky bunk bunk at 90 decibels. And then they go, I better check that. And then they check it, and they're like, it's Rogers telling me I've used 5% of my data for this month. Like, yeah, you don't, that's non-urgent. I'll tell you, and, you know, my wife and I disagree on this one. She's got, like, every alert on her phone. I have no alerts on my phone. Even if somebody has an emergency, I only want to find out at my leisure. Which is not a nice thing to say, and also not my true feelings, but I did think that it would be funny to say it, and you know what? I think I was right. I'll check my phone at the end of the day. My mom could leave me a message like, oh, you know, something bad happened. I'd be like, well, what do you want me to do about it? It's 10 p.m. Pacific. Okay, I'm happy to have Deadshot, don't get me wrong. But I like to, like, here's the thing. Phone alerts kind of stress me out. I like to have, like, a serene, do not disturb sort of lifestyle going on with respect to my telephone. And then I interface with it at my leisure rather than working for the device, you know? This is an interesting sort of setup we got here, huh? Happy to have Ansys, don't get me wrong. But, like, when people have every alert on their phone, I'm like, how do you get anything done? You know, like, if you got an alert every time, you know, like, you get a YouTube comment. I don't think Kate has this on, but I never get any sleep. That's not, like, a weird flex. I'm just saying, like, even if you got a comment every, like, 15 minutes, you probably wouldn't get any sleep. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. Oh, you millennials can't stay away from your cell phones. Hey, didn't you get the memo? We're old now. You can't just make fun of millennials. We got to start making fun of Zoomers for something. Oh, Zoomers are trying to save the planet. Good one. Nice try. Why don't you try burning some gasoline, losers? Yeah, why don't you try getting a bunch of plastic bags and then just throwing them in the creek behind your house? It's the way Granddad used to do it. Anyway, it's a weird bit. I'll acknowledge the weirdness of the bit. I think it's cool that only one Deadeye shot needs to land, and then all four seem to get the bonus. I don't know, the run's good enough that it really didn't matter how that mechanic seemed to work, to be honest. For now, though, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!